I'm a curator and cultural theorist, and since about 9 years director of the Architekturzentrum Wien, which is the Austrian Architecture Museum in Vienna. That's where we are at the moment in our permanent exhibition. If you think about architectural history, you always have to keep in mind that it was written largely by white men. It was written in epochs, in styles, in grand narratives, and women have been largely excluded. My aim now is not to fill the gaps, just to integrate more women into architectural history. It's really about writing history differently, curating differently, exhibiting differently. So we always have to keep in mind that architecture is largely dominated by capital. And if we want a different architecture, we have to question capitalism. We have to question exploitation of both humans and nature, and we have to look for new approaches, attitudes, like Elke Krasny and I were suggesting a caring perspective, so that architecture is really there to care for humans and to care for the planet. And I think we really also got some connection between practice and theory. So it really seems to change some practices in architecture, and it really helps the visibility of practices run by women and by non-Western women. So as soon as you change your perspective, you see different things which have never been part of the canon so far. Another strategy to make female architects more visible in architectural history is to do prominent solo exhibitions, solo shows on female architects. I think we are the only museum, the only architecture museum who has ever done that as a series. So we started with Denise Scott-Brown in 2018, and it's incredible that there has never been an exhibition on Denise Scott-Brown before. She's so prominent, but it was really the first exhibition worldwide. What interests me is that curating is not about taking some objects and putting them together. I see curating really as a research. So it's very much about curatorial research, really diving deep into some topics, doing some field research, developing new contexts, and so every exhibition is also a research project, and at the same time, you always think about the audience. So you always think about mediation. So you have to communicate it, and you have to have some narratives. So maybe that's different from a classical academic research project and so on. And I think this combination of caring for an audience and doing a deep research, I think that's fascinating about curating. I think since the beginning of my career, you could really feel that capitalism is taking over in a different way. I think especially after the financial crisis in 2007, 2008, when a lot of what we call golden concrete came into our cities, so a lot of real estate that has not a function to house people, but just to make money, just about speculation. And I think this deeply transformed the discipline, architecture and urbanism, and I think it's even more important now to criticize the system. I think one really has to differentiate. If one looks, for example, at Europe or the United States, I think we should really stop building to a large extent. I think it's built already. Europe is built, and we should refurbish and transform. But of course, if you look on other parts of the world, they need a lot of infrastructure, and there the question is, how will this be done? Will it be done like with the Western capitalist building industry, or will it be done more locally, more sustainably, more caring for both for the people and for the planet?